What's up, guys? It's t.kyle here. Happy Saturday. I am here with Dunkin' Donuts. Not coffee, though. Today I had to get tea because I am cutting back a lot on my caffeine intake, which we will talk about second in this weekend chat, because I have a list of things we're gonna discuss today, and I know what most of you wanna hear about. Most of you wanna hear about Real Housewives of New York. So we're gonna discuss that first, so then, everyone else will just click off the video, and then, the rest of you girls that want, the other updates can stay. But forgive me, I'm trying to film this video and not get distracted because my downstairs neighbor's TV is so fucking loud. It's whatever. It's really just only during the day, but it's like, it's every day, so I'm like, bitch, do you work? Like, what are you doing? Okay, so the first thing we're gonna discuss today is my experience at the Real Housewives of New York finale taping. I think it was the finale. I'm assuming it was the finale because they were all there. Then we're gonna discuss apartment, like why I'm not drinking coffee today, a little personal moment for you guys. And then I'm gonna discuss the RuPaul drama that has been happening the past week, because I'm the kind of person where, like, I don't like to just jump into a conversation and start running my mouth. Like, I like to listen to everything and hear everyone out, and, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like to take time before I speak, and I don't just like to jump in, and I'm not thirsty for retweets, so I'm not, like, jumping in, throwing in, like, shady jokes like a lot of people I saw were doing, and they thought that they were so funny, and I'm just like, you're really obnoxious. So we're gonna discuss that at the end. I will leave timestamps in the description, so if you don't wanna hear me talk about something, you just skip. So let's get started. Okay, so first up, this past Thursday, I was at the Real Housewives of New York finale taping. It was Luann's celebratory after party, and I was in heaven, you guys. Okay, so to start out by letting you guys know, because I'm sure this is probably everyone's question, I did not hear anything that, like, happened. So if you are expecting, like, a storyline or, like, whatever, I don't know. I honestly, not that I couldn't hear them, but I just was so in awe of the situation, and I was, like, talking to other people that were around, that I didn't really, I wasn't like a mole. I went there to have fun and just, be in the ambiance of Countess Luann. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't there trying to get, like, the tea. Now, I thought I looked real cute when I went. I, like, dressed up a little bit, which I don't normally do. She flat ironed the front of her hair. When I flat iron my hair, I'm, like, trying to look, somewhat presentable. And a lot of people complimented my skin, because in the photo with Luann, it looks really good. And no, bitch, I did not use Facetune. I used e.l.f. powder and a CoverGirl stick thing. So I had, like, not like a full face, but I had, like, a decent, I was just a reflective powdering that would reflect if a photo were taken. You know what I'm saying? So we get there. We were kind of early. They were just giving out a, like, free open bar, and I was like, I really shouldn't drink because I want to, like, remember all of this, like, to a T. But I was like, an open bar with housewives, like, why would I say no? Of course I started drinking. So I had a lot of Prosecco. But I was fine. So we're drinking, we're kikiing. I'm there with my friend Michael, who was, like, the star of the party. Everyone was flocking to him. Everyone was obsessed with him. It was so funny to watch, and like, I was in awe. And so we're all just hanging out for probably, like, an hour and a half. And then all the producers and everyone are like, okay, like, everyone come to the front. Like, the ladies are here. The ladies are arriving. And I'm like, oh my, as if I've never seen them before. You know what I'm saying? I've seen them, like, dozens of times. But I felt like I was in, like, I don't want to say a zoo because that sounds, like, mean, but it was almost like, I felt like I was in, like, a museum, or, like, I was in a gay version of Sleep No More. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was seeing them in their natural habitat, if you will. And, like, it was so wild. So they all, like, come in, like, greeting everyone, like, mwah, mwah. Sonia said hi to me, because Sonia, you know, we kiki when she comes to watch what happens live. She knows all about like the gifts and all that stuff. Like she's aware. So they all start coming in. It was everyone except Luann, and everyone looked great. I mean, they all were like sequins, hair, full face, beat. And I was just in awe. And I just was staring and watching. And it really was like, I felt like I was in a museum, like a live action, like medieval times, you know? Like I was just standing and just watching them talk to each other. Like, so it was such a weird experience because one, I've already like worked with them at Watch What Happens Live. So it's like, I've seen them before, I've interacted with them before, but this was just like, it was like their world was going on. Then there was like the cameramen, which like at some points weren't really that obvious. I will say like they were kind of well positioned where you kind of didn't really notice them. And then there was like the whole production crew, which was like all in the back. And I was just like, this is so crazy. But I loved every second of it. And there really wasn't any like, you know, like magic, like they say, like whatever, you know, like it's scripted, and like honestly, like it was just a party. Like they were just hanging out, they were going back and forth, they were talking to other people, and they would go back and talk to like the other castmates. And so it really just was like seamlessly whatever. And I think that's why I love New York so much, and I think that's why everyone loves New York so much, is because they are genuinely this like social group, and they're able to fight and still hang out and then go to parties and still support each other when they do these shows. And you know what I'm saying? Whereas I feel like a lot of the other franchises, there's not that like, you know, camaraderie that they have. Like they really start to like, they really fight, and then it's like done, it's over. Like there's no going back. But then they still are on the same cast, and you can just tell that they don't want to be there. You know what I mean? But with New York, you can just tell that this is like a group of people that hang out, you know? So the only like drama that I have from the night was I asked Bethany to unblock me. She like, she was at the bar and she recognized my friend Michael and from work. And then I was like, oh my God, hi Bethany. Like, it's so good to see you. I was like, can I ask you like a crazy question? She's like, yeah. And I was like, can you unblock me on Twitter? And she's like, who are you? And I just, like, internally, I was dying because she's just so Bethany. I was like, oh, I work at Watch What Happens Live, and I, like, tweeted it at you once, and you blocked me on Twitter, and it was just, like, not really this big deal. She was like, oh my God, I'm, like, so sorry. Like, I'm, like, just, like, so bad, like, at social media. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, what was the name? And I was like, t.kyle. She was like, okay, yeah, sorry. So sorry about that. And then she unblocked me. I checked the next day and I was unblocked, and I was just like, but that's really the, oh, also I heard them screaming up about Democrats. That's like the only thing I genuinely heard that anyone said the entire time was like, Tinsley was like screaming about the Democrats, and because she was so loud, she was like screaming it.
It's going to the Democratic campaign! I just never held a person
The only words that I could actually hear, but I was like, in what context is this conversation happening? Like, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. And then lastly, the iconic moment of the night, the moment that I came face to face with Countess Luann herself and got a picture with her, which I will put up here. She is snatched, you guys. Like, first of all, she's so tall. She's so skinny. The outfit looked amazing. Her skin, her face look fabulous. Like, she really, she's having her swan song redemption moment, you guys. I mean, she, like, was just arrested, like, a couple months ago. And now she's snatched. Like, what kind of, like, story arc is that? I mean, hello. Like, she will go down, in my opinion, as the greatest housewife of all time. Like, overall, she's got the arrest. She got out of handcuffs. She went to rehab. She was demoted to a friend of and then was invited back as a housewife. She has multiple singles. She's performed at gay clubs. She now has a cabaret show. I mean, like, what else divorce, marriage? What else do we need? Like, She's got one-liners. She's got some of the best one-liners. I mean, you guys, if you want to talk about like a well-rounded, iconic housewife, she is the one. I don't care who your fave is. Like, you got to give it up to Luann. She really is the ultimate Real Housewife. And so, I mean, she sent me a cease and desist. Iconic. Now we're like basically friends. I mean, not really. I still don't think it's like always weird. Like, I feel like she looks at me like she knows me, but then she doesn't really, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm fine with. I love, like, I ain't nobody. I'm only Miss Minnie, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not out here, like, thinking people know who I am. And I'm the most awkward human being on the planet. Like, I go to these parties and I'm like, like, if my friend was not with me, I would have been hiding in the corner. I would have no idea what to do. I cannot navigate a room. I do not know how to start a conversation. I do not know how to hold a conversation. I am so awkward. I am so nervous. Like, I'm always anxious, like, constantly, 24/7. Which will actually lead me into my next thing we're gonna chat about. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like, let me look at my photos. I feel like that's pretty much it. I mean, I did not provide this video, but there was someone that was at Luann's cabaret show and Sonja's dress like fully fell off, and I was screaming at the video. It is so funny. It was like this wrap dress and it literally just like fell off. I just love them all so much. I mean, you know, I have a special spot in my heart for Jersey that will always be like up there for me. But there's just something about New York, you guys. I mean, if you are not a Real Housewives fan, I'm sorry for your life. But if you want to get into it, I highly recommend starting with New York, because the old seasons are just it's a whole new world, the old seasons. But then these characters like Ramona and Luann and Bethany, who have been through the whole franchise from the beginning, I just love them so much, and I was so excited to be able to witness them in their natural habitat and to just be ridiculous. Okay, so that pretty much covers that, because I really, you know, I'm not lying to you guys. I mean, even if I did hear things, I probably wouldn't tell them to you anyway, because I probably can't. I mean, it's not whatever, but I really wasn't listening. I was just staring, and they were just chatting and talking, and so it'll be interesting to see how, like what actually did happen, because, you know, they were obviously all mic'd, and, you know, to hear their conversations or to see what is going on, because to me it looked like everyone was just having fun, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just looked like a party, and so I have no idea if there was like any drama, or, you know what I'm saying? I also think I'm like in one of the shots, because Ramona and Bethany were talking, and I like kind of like stood, like, the camera was like here, Bethany was like, they were both like facing the camera, you know? And I was just kind of like, you know, like sipping a Prosecco. So I hope I'm in the shot. You know, why not? Like, whoa. Now that's pretty much everything from that. I was telling you guys, I'm like the most nervous, awkward person on the planet. So I've been ordered now, well, highly recommended, to cut back on my caffeine intake, because if you guys know, I just moved into this apartment. I don't sleep. I'm at max get 2.5 hours, and then I wake up. I go back to sleep, 2.5 hours, wake up. So it's like I'm not like sleeping. It's just like a little doze off, up, anxious. Doze off, up, anxious. Who the fuck just... I don't even know. It's fucking Saturday. Why is everyone fucking freaking out? Shut the fuck up, everyone. Like, hello? God. Go outside. It's nice out. Well, as I sit here, whatever. But what was I saying? Oh. So, I literally am not sleeping. And I am kind of upset about it. So, I've just been constantly like getting pain here. So I went to the doctor, and he had me like write out what my intake of caffeine was. And my caffeine intake was really high, like really high. And I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize how much caffeine is in a large iced coffee. I thought it was just like, you know, like a normal cup of coffee, just watered down with more ice, you know? I didn't really think a large iced coffee actually had more caffeine in it. And then I would get turbo shots in that. And then I would have another energy drink before work. And then at work, I would have another coffee or like a Diet Coke. Bad news. So I have to cut that back. 2 days ago, I had no caffeine at all whatsoever. Yesterday, I just had a Diet Coke. Today, I'm just having this tea, which is really not that much, just like a little bit, because I also don't want to go through the withdrawal, like with the headaches and the migraines and stuff. So I feel like if I just stick to like one like small cup or like one minimal thing a day, and then just slowly like cut it out, that it will help the sleeping situation. Also, I'm just like, I still don't feel like this is my home. You guys know what I mean? Like and I don't know how long that takes to get used to it. The last time I moved was so long ago. I really don't have any recollection of my first month in my last apartment. I mean, I'm sure I could like look up, I don't know. I didn't have a journal or anything. So I just don't know. I'm like, does it take it's been 3 weeks and it hasn't gotten better. I did get a memory foam mattress or memory foam pad, which I don't know, you can probably see it back. Is that it? No, it's my couch. Oh, you can't see it, but it's airing out back there to try and help my mattress be less stiff, because it is pretty stiff. And I got rid of my mattress pad when I moved, and so I'm gonna try that. And I just wanna like finish this space. And so I got candles, my first candle purchase, you know, just like things that I would normally do at home on like a normal regular basis to like make it feel more homey. We'll see if that helps. And if you guys have any recommendations at all whatsoever, please send them. Or if you've moved recently and this is normal, please like let me know, because I feel like it's like bad. I'm like, oh my God, do I need to be medicated? Like whatever, which I don't want to do. I'm like basically all holistic now. I don't want any medication at all whatsoever. So I don't know. I'm just gonna see if the caffeine thing helps and just try and make this feel more like me, and see if that works. I don't know. I hope. Definitely leave me a comment below with any tips, advice, your experience, etc. So then lastly, we're gonna discuss this whole RuPaul drama that has been going on now for, I wanna say, the whole week. I did not get involved in this conversation on social media because I don't feel like social media is the place to have these conversations at all. I don't think, in the past 2 years, I have noticed that social media is really good for a lot of things, but it's also really bad for a lot of things. And I think with stuff like this, I just find like it's so much easier to argue on social media than it is to have productive conversations. And I would much rather have a conversation with someone offline, or watch a panel, or watch, you know, a group discussion or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm so over people trying to have productive, because it's not tailored for it. You know what I'm saying? Like people go on Facebook to argue. People go on Twitter to argue. People go on Twitter to make snarky jokes that are gonna get retweets, or they wanna have like the funny, shady tweet or whatever. And I'm just like, with this whole thing, I'm all for a snarky tweet. I love a shady tweet. I love, you know, drama. But with this specific situation, it really upset me, and it honestly, like, I was really upset. Like, it really hurt my heart to see and to watch the viciousness from everyone in this entire conversation, from both ends of like the argument or whatever. I don't even think it was an argument, it was a conversation. And it was just the viciousness and the things I were seeing people say back and forth to one another was disgusting. And I think it was very shameful. And I think a lot of people should be very ashamed of themselves for the things that they said, because in broader scopes, and this come with me, we're gonna go up, these are all the little specifics. I want you to come up. We're gonna go broad. Come with me broad, okay? In broader scopes, right now, there are people who have actual power. I get that RuPaul is a figure in our community and is a public figure and has a TV show, a reality show on a network. And that does have influence and that has an impact in the community. I get that. However, at the same time, RuPaul is just a reality TV host. There are people locally, statewide, and nationally that have actual power who are working actively and aggressively to take away protections and rights of the LGBT community. It is going on all across America. There are people, like, if you are not aware of this kind of shit, educate yourself because it's really fucking important. And to watch people in our community rip each other apart over something that, did I disagree with RuPaul? Absolutely, 100%. But RuPaul is a trailblazer in our community. Whether you like it or think he's funny or not, or if you watch the show or not, there's no denying that RuPaul is a trailblazer. Now, we can disagree. Our trailblazers can make mistakes. And it's good to have a conversation. And I found, like, in the past few years, I've learned so much. I feel like I need to, like, reel this back to, like, where I was going before. I guess, like, because I feel like there's so many different routes I can go with this. And I'm glad that I'm doing this on camera here because I hope, you know, I just hate when things get cherry picked, you know, or like a tweet is only 200 characters, which is like 2 sentences, or a quote that's in a magazine is just like, they take this chunk and they take, you know, and I know that it's like, I'm not trying to defend it, but at the same time, it's like, we can't do that in our community right now. We can't be like bashing and ripping each other apart right now. Like, use this opportunity as to say, hey, what you said is wrong, or I disagree with this. Let me tell you why. Like, let's have a conversation about like why, like educate one another, have a conversation, open people's minds, open up people's, you know, eyes more, because that's what I love so much about our community. Like, that's always been the thing about our community is like, you can be whatever you want to be. Like, that's the best part about being in the LGBT community. Like, hello, it's a celebration of everyone. You can be so over the top and out there and crazy and outlandish and wild and vibrant and colorful, but you can also be like a quiet, nerdy geek who loves video games and watches RuPaul's Drag. You know what I'm saying? Like, this spectrum is so big, and I feel like people have lost sight of that because I don't know why they've lost sight of it, honestly. I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand why people keep going on social media and attacking one another in our community. It's just, there's a difference between disagreeing. You can, like, people make mistakes. People say things that are wrong. People say things that are, you know, problematic or whatever. But most people, most humans, I feel like, are open-minded enough to hear things and to change things and to make things better. That's just my belief. I believe that in our community. I hope that that's the case. I feel like, you know, because I think about it like, I'll expose myself here because I don't care. So I came out in high school, so I've been out for a very long time. But when I went to college, I was one of those gays that was like, oh, like, I don't get drag queens, and well, I don't get why we need to have like a gay pride parade. Like, it's so ridiculous and whatever. That was me, like, copying to it totally. And I realized the reason why I was that way was because I didn't know at the time, because I was young, the history of the gay pride parade. I didn't know the history of drag queens and how drag queens really are rebels in our community. They are the ones that break barriers and are brave. And I didn't know any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew about RuPaul because I'd seen RuPaul on MTV and I found him to be very inspiring. And I was like, wow, like, if this guy can go on MTV and like dress as like a woman and have a TV show, I was like, oh my God, like, that's so crazy. Like, I can be successful too, you know? Like, it was really inspiring to watch. But I didn't know all these other things. I didn't know about the history of the gay pride parade. I didn't know about drag queens. I didn't understand drag queens. My gay world took time to expand. And even recently, I would say in the past probably 2-3 years, I've learned more about like transgender issues and just everything about that. And like trans queens and bio queens. Like listen, I'm all for all of it. It just takes time to like learn the full spectrum of the gay world, like there's so much and it's all so great. I really honestly think my whole gripe about this whole situation is like the way that people were talking to one another on social media, I found to be disgusting. And there were things that people were tweeting to RuPaul that were absolutely shameful, because you can disagree with what RuPaul said, right? Educate RuPaul. Don't like slamming his appearance, his age, just like all these different things like that I saw people, bringing up. It's like, that's disgusting to me, because RuPaul was out there doing this on the world stage in entertainment when it was dangerous to be doing this. Like, and that's the one thing I think too, is like a lot of these like younger gays, they grew up with RuPaul's Drag Race as like the norm, it's like on TV. Gays are on TV. Like they grew up with it being very, normal and standard. With me, it was like there weren't gays on TV. It was like Will and Grace and RuPaul. And that was it, And I remember with RuPaul, it was like, it was not easy. Like you could be assaulted for like being in drag, like out in public, and it was very scary. And I remember always being like really concerned that like someone would try and hurt RuPaul, because that's what the world was back then. Like it wasn't as accepted, it wasn't as open as it is now. So to see people like, listen, like what RuPaul said was like, ugh. And I think, we're making progress with like the conversation, but like, I don't know. The other thing too is I was thinking, because I was like really upset by it, and I pulled back and I'm like, well, what is it that's bothering me? Because I know I disagree with RuPaul, and I think that there needs to be a conversation here, but like, what is it that's like really hurting my heart? And I realized it, and I pulled away, and I saw all these like white gay men. And this is just what I saw. I don't know if this is like I'm just going from what I saw. I saw a lot of white gay men bashing RuPaul. And I just kind of felt like in the political spectrum, in our world right now, with everything that's going on, with all the people in power, people with actual power who can change laws and can change your healthcare and can change your protections at your workplace, like serious shit. People who are in these powerful positions to actually do something, not just like reality TV. Like reality TV hosts don't have, they're not making laws. You know what I'm saying? People in power are fighting hard and aggressively to take away your rights, to make sure that you can't get healthcare, to make sure you can't get married, make sure you can't adopt kids. Like, you want me to go on, I'll fucking go on. There's people who are actually doing that shit. So to see these like white gay men bashing an African-American gay man who trailblazed for our community years ago and still trailblazing really upset me, and I found to be shameful. So I just need to say that. And that's not me defending what RuPaul said, because I think the drag world, our gay world, it's open, broad. The spectrum is all colors of the rainbow. Do you? I'm off. Like, I live for all of it. I guess my final note on that, because I feel like I went all over the place with that thing, is just like, I feel like just let's have more conversations. I would love to see a panel come out of this. I would love to see, especially like, I would love Michelle Visage to be there. I feel like she's much more involved in like social conversation. Like, she's very much more engaged in terms of like one-on-one fan interaction. Like, she'll sit with you and kiki with you if you see her out. I've worked with her when I was at Logo TV. She's incredible. I feel like she's all eyes, all ears. you know, and I would love to see Michelle a part of a panel and just get like, you know, all different like facets of our community, like, because it is so broad now. And, you know, even like, you know, the Queer Eye reboot, people were bashing that. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm so sick of it. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, our community is so broad. There's never going to be one show, one reality show that covers it all. Just like any reality show. They're just reality shows. They cover like this one, you know, individual group, or like this, like Queer Eye, this new reboot, these 5 people are not meant to be like representative of all of us. RuPaul's Drag Race is not meant to be like representative of like all drag. It's like these, they're like little mini micro reality shows. They're fucking reality shows. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love what World of Wonder does on their YouTube channel, because I feel like that is what I envisioned Logo TV being like years ago. I mean, if you guys, like, there's something there with World of Wonder and their online programming where I feel like they really do cover like a broader spectrum, and I love it. I don't know where I'm going with this. Basically, the moral of what I'm saying is recognize who your enemies are and who your enemies aren't. Who, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove with our politicians, because they're pushing, who are gonna be the ones that stand with us, with our group? RuPaul and Michelle Visage are gonna stand with us. You know what I'm saying? We need to all be standing together. And this other stuff, when people make mistakes and people say the wrong thing or people aren't educated about something, because it goes both ways. The same people who are coming for RuPaul about his lack of education and knowledge of like this newer movement and trans issues, you know what? The same side, this younger generation, there's a lot of queens who don't know their history. And I used to be one of them. So I say that as like, not a dig. I say it as like, you know, it's just, it takes time to learn the full spectrum. I mean, remember that one clip of Derek Barry when he's like, oh, no one died at Stonewall? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it goes both ways. So if you're gonna come for RuPaul about this issue and not knowing about this, you better come ready with all of your full knowledge and education of like everything, you know what I'm saying? So my message to like everyone is, let's have more conversations. Quit the nastiness, quit the viciousness. It's not funny. It's not, I mean, especially now, it's really not funny. I don't find it funny at all. I don't find it, you know, cute. So let's have more conversations. Maybe there'll be a panel. I would love that. Let's put it out into the universe. Like maybe I should even like email some people at World of Wonder and be like, hey, I have this, you should just do this. I'll just give them the free idea because I think we need it. I really would like love there to be like a new series of like panels that like are kind of like that show like five gays, one girl or whatever. Kind of like that, but you know, I mean, maybe they just reboot. I loved that show. I felt like it was so, like you got a good mix of guys and it was like always different conversations and productive and not drama. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I hope that made sense. That's all for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. And please, if you have any recommendations for how I can fucking sleep in my new apartment, or if it's just gonna take time, please let me know in the comment section below. And I will see you guys soon with the new video. I'm working on some stuff, you know, trying to get my sleep in check, and then it's messing with my creativity and my mood, but we're getting there. It's all a slow journey. But yeah, bye guys. I will see you soon.
It's Brittany, bitch. Shake your tits. Dunkin' Donuts.